Good morning, everyone. Oh, not morning where you're at? That's okay, because you can have eggs for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Welcome to episode 8 of Three Eggs Are Better Than One. I am Brad Stanton, joined as always by my other two eggs, Matt M. and Brian Haremza. We want to thank all of you for the positive feedback from last week. We hope you enjoyed our terrible favorite holiday movies. But let's kick it into this week already with our sunny side up of the week over to Bryant. So, Bryant, what do you got this week? What's your good news?
Well, this week we are coming off of Christmas, had a great holiday, and I am lucky that my business is still going. We had tons of issues with orders going out, and our system crashed on Friday. So for me, my sunny side up is the fact that we were actually able to work the last couple days, whereas the rest of my company pretty much took 2 days off for the holiday, took an extended Christmas vacation. So just happy we could keep it going. So, Brad,
That's
how
a
about
pretty.
you?
Let's not mention what the company is. I think you have, but I think that company's going to be just fine.
Yeah, no, we'll be fine. We've made it work, and yeah, I don't want to have to send in the bleep again. So
I am thankful for the technology on vehicles. So, as you guys know, I work as a car dealership, and I'm driving a 2025 Nissan Pathfinder. I don't always get super involved with the real techie stuff, but I think this is a really great feature that I'm sure everybody's very used to. So, as you can tell, I'm a little under the weather, and on the day after Christmas, I drove to urgent care, and that's gonna be a later part of the story as well. But this or a later part of the episode, but this I'm backing up and I'm a little disoriented out of my driveway in the Nissan Pathfinder. And when something's behind you, it beeps, or there's a different beep in the front, a different beep in the back, and everything's fine. Well, this one beeped as loud as I've ever heard it beep before, and actually slammed on the brakes for me. So I am thankful that I didn't hit my neighbor's across the street's car, because it's actually the 2025 Nissan Pathfinder stopped, so I did not hit his car. So I'm sorry to all the body shops out there that really look forward to these kind of things, but we're in the clear. So
Oh.
that is my sunny side up of the week.
Yeah, that's very interesting and a little scary because, what if it decides to hit the brakes when you're doing 80 on the highway and there's no problem and it's just a malfunction? That's how I feel about the self-driving car stuff. You know, I mean, every piece of technology is great. I love it. I mean, I've already spent time on our shows talking about little things that I like, but, you know, every piece of tech you've ever owned has screwed up, has it not?
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, it sure has. So who's to say? I don't know.
So actually, funny, that has happened where I'm not going 80, but I feel like it has alerted me way before I'm ever close to hitting anything.
Yeah,
And I'm
I've
not
had
sure
that.
what has triggered that radar. Now, nothing was, the brakes didn't hit, but the noise happened. And that
yep,
scares the living crap out of you. Because let's
Yes.
face it, most of the time when you're driving, you're in your own mind, right? Or you're listening to something, you're, and I'm like, what am I about to hit? And you're about to hit nothing. But in this case, I was. So I'm
Yeah.
happy that I didn't do it.
Good. Good. So my sunny side up, I'm gonna keep up my trend of not really knowing how to answer this topic. So I'm gonna tell you a little story. Um, so we've done a lot of Christmas talking the last several episodes. It's still December. And we've talked a lot about the Home Alone movies. About how there's six of them. My family's watched a lot of them. Home Alone 3. I forgot to tell my Home Alone story, the original Home Alone movie. The original Home Alone came out in theaters in November of 1990. So I was 8. I guess I'm pretty much the same age as Macaulay Culkin, or at least how old of the character he was portraying, because I think he was an 8-year-old kid. So it was the first time I went with my mom and my dad. I don't know where my sister was at the time. She would have been 2 or 3, so she was not there. But I went with my mom and my dad, and when we got to the theater, it was the first time in my life I ever remember seeing like lines inside the theater. Like it was a big deal. It was a big event. It was a big happening. And maybe I don't know if it was opening night or opening weekend or why. I can't remember that. Um, but it was a big to do. Every seat was jammed up, right? So we're watching the movie. It's the first time we're seeing this back in 1990. It's hilarious. Uh, Finally, Christmas morning, you know, Kevin's sitting in his living room staring at the Christmas tree. And finally, uh, after her journey, we finally get in the theater. Uh, let's call it opening night of Home Alone. And as soon as Kevin's mom walks in at the very end of the movie, the film reel cuts out. And everyone's like, "What?" I mean, we're talking old school film reel here, right? And I think we all sat there for about 10 minutes. And finally somebody came in and said, "We're not going to be able to show you the rest of the movie." Like, what? Like this particular moment in this particular film. I mean, this is an iconic moment in an iconic film if you fast forward to the present day. So we did not get to see what happened until, I don't know, I guess until it came on home video, which is obviously very different, 30 odd years ago than it is now, where, something is, you could watch it on your phone the next day. So, and I also remember that they did hand out free movie tickets to everybody on their way out. And I remember me and my dad we used those free tickets in the next couple weeks to go see Rocky 5 because
Yes.
that also came out in November of 1990. And even as an 8-year-old, I knew that movie was terrible because it
Ah, it's the worst of the Rockies, but it's not a terrible movie. Come
yeah.
on.
That's the sort of like, you know, very specific biographical memory that I can have sometimes. Like I remember we had the ticket, I remember what it looked like, and I remember we used it to go see Rocky 5. So there's my sunny side up.
I mean, I think you are confused sometimes about what the good news is. You didn't get to see the movie you wanted, and you got to see a movie you didn't want. Awesome. Yeah, that is good news. Um, so speaking of good, not so good news, let's get into the hard boiled.
Uh-oh.
Even though I am a little under the weather, I did have to go to a party last night. You guys know that's what I always have to do. So, Bryant, if you could put the picture up that I gave you last night. So this is what happens, and as he's doing it, I'll explain. On a Saturday night, and there's nobody in the house, and if I've told my wife, I said if 5 hours goes by without the dog's supervision, this is what happens, and this is what happens. So, recommendation to everybody: if you have animals, 5 hours is the limit in the house by themselves, or as if you're not watching right now, which we hope you are. A pillow was destroyed and stuffing is everywhere. Nothing like walking into this at 11:30 midnight at night. Also, if you see in the back, the crock pot is still there.
Ah, so happy you mentioned that.
The table is full, as you can see, very Christmassy. We're still trying to figure out how to put things together. But yeah, walking into this, and my dog right there, you can see his tail. He's very happy that he accomplished this feat. So yes, there's stuffing everywhere over the floor. Only leave your pets home for 5 hours or less, never anymore. Thank you, Brian.
So
Um,
I have
so
wait, before you move on, I have some commentary on this. First of all, I absolutely love that the pillow that was destroyed has dog prints all over it. Secondly, I'm so glad there's a crock pot in frame. It was not staged. I'm so glad you mentioned it. And I would like to say that had this incident occurred in any room of the house, there would also be a non-staged crock pot that just happened to be in frame. All right.
So started not feeling well Christmas Eve. I was at the gym and I'm like, oh man, this is just not going well. Lucky that I'm off Christmas Eve and Christmas Day at our car dealership. Thank you for that. And so I went running and I went to the gym and I get home. I said, you know what, hon, I got to lay down for like an hour before we go to church. The thing about church is I am one of Santa's helpers, so I help out at church after at the end. So there was no way of missing it. Okay, so I wake up and I'm feeling awful. I go ahead and I make it, and the adrenaline happens. I'm able to pull off the Santa, get through it, and had a rough night. And then, of course, after 11 o'clock Christmas morning, I pretty much slept until the middle of the afternoon on the day after Christmas and missed work. So I drive to urgent care, and I'm thinking, and I told you about the whole incident about me being very, very disoriented. I'm thinking I have either strep, COVID, influenza, or or not leukemia. Oh my God, sorry to say that. Pneumonia. Pneumonia's been really going around too here. So I get there and I'm out of it. I'm sweating. And the guy he does all the tests and I'm there 20 minutes. He comes back. He goes, "Yeah, I just want to let you know, you're free of COVID, you're free of pneumonia, you're free of strep, and you don't have the flu. So really there's nothing wrong with you." I'm like, well, that's great because I feel horrible. He goes, well, I have no doubt that you don't feel good. So, what would you like me to put on the note here? I'm like, well, nothing. I mean, I don't really need a note. He goes, let's give you a note for work anyway. And as you can see, I still sound great. But what he puts on the note is this. Now, I feel horrible. I'm dying. And he goes, it says illness. You have illness. What the hell is illness? Okay. Oh, I don't have strep. I don't have COVID. I don't have any of this stuff. I have illness. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to tell my boss. I'm going to hand it to him and say, listen, man, I had to miss because, listen, I have illness. All right.
We have HIPAA. This is why we have HIPAA laws. It's nobody's business what's wrong with you except you and the doctor.
Yeah, this sounds very corporate, man. I don't know if we know what kind of industry I'm in. We have to get specific here, okay? All right, we're in a sales world where if I'm not there, things don't get done. All right, I don't know. I don't. You sound like my wife a little bit there with the HIPAA. But anyway, I have illness. Who has illness? Okay, so then I'm started reading. Of course, it says in page 7 of this report, I maybe have a viral and some kind of virus, which also means they have no idea. So basically, there was nothing wrong with me the whole time. I was just faking. But I have illness. I'm glad I paid the copay for that. I have illness. So in case you wanted to know, that is what I have. I have illness. So that is my hard boiled of the week. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about Fabergé eggs. Matt,
New
I can't
topic.
stop.
New
I can't
topic
stop
alert.
adding eggs.
New topic alert.
New topic alert. Now, what is Fabergé eggs? That is our New Year's resolutions. So, Bryant, what's the plan, Stan?
Well, normally I don't do New Year's resolutions. I haven't believed in them for a long time, mainly because I give up on them so quickly. This year is different. I have decided that I'm actually happy to see this topic because I've decided I'm actually going to do one this year, and it's to get in better health, get in better shape. I have gotten very out of control with my, as I mentioned on a previous episode, my Cinnabon problem. And I feel like I should try to clean up my act a little bit and probably instead of going, my made the joke, instead of going to Cinnabon 5 days a week, I'll go 3 days. But I want to try to get better shape. My wife has done things to improve herself, and I kind of just been in the background with my snacks, cheering her on to the point that I'm like, I should probably catch up a little bit. So my resolution is to get in better shape, I guess. So, Brad, how about you?
Well, that's a new one. I've never heard that as a New Year's resolution
I know,
before.
right? I thought I'd throw a new one out that no one's ever heard
There's
before.
no way that one of the three of us wasn't going to come up with that, right?
Yeah, no.
So I had that written down and I had it crossed off already because I knew I was second. But anyway, I try to keep up with that already. I could always do better. But what I want to do this year is my wife's been really we've been trying to remodel this house a little bit. And the minute we had a lot of equity in this house, what happened? Interest rates went up way high, and it just didn't seem realistic for me to take out a loan. I mean, I listen, we're talking a big remodel. So to take out a loan, it just to triple my payment didn't seem like a good idea. But now, in the coming year, it looks like things are loosening up a little bit. I'm not going to say we're going to do it all, but I want to at least get some of the work done around here that she wants done. She deserves it. So, my usual resolution is to make some improvements on our home this year. Matt?
Good one. And Brian, commendable, of course. Yours as well. Mine is similar to Brian's, but almost the opposite of Brad's.
Want to tear your house down, huh?
No, not really about the house. My goal for the coming year is to try to simplify my life. Um,
Hmm.
2024 was overall pretty good year. But I would say the second half of the year, we were just sort of insanely busy with work and natural things that everybody experiences, and maybe some that not everybody has to, but work and everything that comes with having a younger child and school and the many sports he's enrolled in and all the coaching and helping out in the town community and stuff that we do. And I did have things in the house that we got done. We had to get a new roof, which I think I mentioned before. Within a matter of a couple of weeks, there was some roofing and some plumbing and electrical work and a couple of in the yard and a couple other things. And I really went after it. Um, and then there were some family health issues, and I had some health issues towards the rest of the year. And I basically decided that I had just overwhelmed myself. I mean, there's the natural things in life that you can be prepared for, and some you're not prepared for. And then there's the things that you stack on top. And I just did too much stacking. I'm not saying that I'm going to set out to be lazy in 2025, but simplify, more streamline, uh, be less loosey goosey about like, oh yeah, we can fit that in. Like, be more thoughtful about, how we're going to plan things out. So I don't normally do resolutions. I was maybe forced into this one. This is something that I was planning on doing anyway, and it was appropriate for the Fabergé egg.
Funny you say that, Matt. That was mine last year, believe it or not. But I didn't actually pay attention to it until June. And that's when I stopped doing the kickout crew and had to focus a little bit on some things at home and just slow down a little bit, focus on what was important for a little bit. And it's not easy to do because life is fast. But yeah, that's a good thing. Definitely a good thing. So let's talk about moments, right? So brown eggs. I put a lot of thought into this because, I write the outline. I put this on myself and I'm like thinking about it. We were talking about doing the show. We were supposed to do the show earlier and I wasn't able to do it. And I'm like, by the way, what the hell was my less talked about moment? So I went back to my notes and now how I remember. So this is going to be wrestling. And I have been staying away from wrestling, but we're going to talk a little bit about it now. January 12th, 2020. Brian, any ideas? I don't know. Don't you Google anything. I
No,
said don't Google it.
I'm not Googling, no. January. So it's January of 2020,
12th.
January 12th.
Okay, we can't have this kind of
No, I'm
audio.
not going to say no. I don't go for it, man.
Okay. Well, it was hard to
You
kill.
gonna ask me?
You know?
No, I was gonna say that AEW Revolution before the COVID started, but that was probably
That was
February.
March. That was March.
So it was Impact Hard to Kill. January 12th, 2020. Tessa Blanchard defeated Sammy Callahan for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. Tessa Blanchard is a woman, and this was the first time in a major promotion that a woman has beat a man in the major championship, has been in the major championship. Now, we know China has won the Intercontinental Championship. There's been things like that. We know GCW's been doing it for a long time, I think. But this was the first time, and I don't even know if it happened before that, but this is the first time that a woman had won that. And it was a 23-minute match, and she pinned him in the middle of the ring. She was very believable. Leading up to this, she had beaten Brian Cage. Now, if you have any idea who Brian Cage is, he is a massive man. Okay. Like he is someone that we always say with other men, like smaller, like there's no way he could lose to them. And now we have a woman, similar situation, but she was very built up to do this. So what happened? This is a major moment in wrestling history. What happened? Why wasn't more made out of this? Well, I think one of the biggest problems is a couple months later, what happened?
COVID.
Everything was stopped. COVID's what happened. And unfortunately, also, there's some just things that happened with Tessa Blanchard, excuse me, that just not kind of moved her out of the spotlight for a while as well. The reason I even bring up this event is because she did recently come back into TNA recently, which was Impact then, it's now TNA now. She made an appearance there a couple weeks ago. And so what else happened? Well, TNA just isn't what it used to be, is it? We had AEW that was a major promotion at the time. We have WWE that never stopped being a major promotion. And then we have TNA was probably a distant third in line to everything else. But yes, she was the first woman to win a major championship. She was believable. It was an A+ match. Bleacher Report gave it an A+ match. If you know who Sammy Callahan, and he's probably one of the most unlikable people in wrestling history. He spits on you. He's disgusting. He's a disgusting human being. So it was such a great moment for her to beat him. And honestly, I didn't watch it live. I'm sure most of us didn't watch it live. I covered it on the Kickout Crew a few years back, and very enjoyable match. So I would go back and watch that. It is Hard to Kill 2020. It is available on TNA Plus, and watch history made. Brian, you have any comments on that?
It was truly a historic moment for wrestling promotions because at the time women were getting more of that showcase, that more of that focus, and to see Tessa kind of break out into, you have a women's champion, and now to be the world heavyweight, the men's champion, it's something that was kind of completely, no one saw it coming. Like everyone thought, okay, they're just doing this to kind of prop Tessa up, and to have her beat Sammy was a huge thing. Two things kind of came out of it. One, TNA got a little bit more of a publicity. They're kind of, as Brad mentioned, a distant third, so not a lot of people talk TNA. The other thing, like Brad said, COVID hit, and at the time she was dating someone who lived in Mexico, and as part of COVID, she was stuck in Mexico, so she could never come back to really defend the title or do anything with the championship. So that was a little bit of what kind of helped facilitate her not being having more of a prominent role in a run with the championship.
I don't know, Matt, if you remember anything about it.
Yeah, I do, and I want to comment on this.
Perfect.
You're putting me in a wrestling box here. I know more than you think. So, first of all, that is an excellent choice for a brown egg. That is precisely what I envisioned for this category. Something that is a big moment, but doesn't have 14,000 podcasts talking about it, you know? So I think that the lead up to that in Impact was pretty great. I think 2019. Now I have not watched the whole history of Impact TNA, but I was watching for a couple of years then, and I think 2019 is one of their strongest years. I think that the 4 or 5 pay-per-views they had that year were all phenomenal. The top of the card people were Brian Cage, and Johnny Impact, I guess what he goes by there.
I
Matt
love that.
Sydal and Sammy Callahan and Tessa. Those 5, 6 people were, trading main events, and I think that all their pay-per-views and all those matches were top tier. That was a very good year for them. So it was kind of like maybe the chase was better than the catch situation with Tessa. I remember I saw something happened a couple months prior with Tessa, and I don't remember what it was because a long time ago now. And anything that's pre-COVID is just in a different part of my brain memory. But something happened, and I texted my friend, yellow shirt guy, and I said, "Oh, they're going to give Tessa the world title." And this was months before it happened. Just something triggered that thought in my head, and then that's where it ended up going. Also, I think it was the previous pay-per-view, or maybe 2 before that, which it was Tessa versus Gail Kim, which I think was Gail Kim's last ever match. And
Yep.
I mean, that's like a top 10 like women's match ever. I mean, maybe the best women's match in TNA ever. But really, really good stuff. Good job, Brad.
So for those of you who don't maybe be old wrestling fans, like the older stuff from the 80s and 70s and 90s, Tessa Blanchard is the daughter of Tully Blanchard, one of the original four horsemen. For those of you who don't know, and she's also the stepdaughter of who is it? Brian, you know.
Magnum TA.
I can see. See, I have that uncovid. I have that illness brain.
There it is. Yes.
Illness.
Illness brain. So anyway, guys, I'm glad you enjoyed it. No, I've been waiting for this next run for a while. I have not prepared for it. So I'm excited here, Matt. So the omelet of the week, Matt, what is it?
Yeah. All right. So maybe a little swerve here. I
Oh,
wasn't
no.
quite sure how to execute this. So I've got a 3-part situation here. We'll see how much of it we can get through. But the first part is called spelling quiz. So this is what we're going to do right now. I have 6 words here that I think are words that always trip me up. They're pretty common words, but I think I'm pretty good scholastically, and they tend to mess me up. So I'm gonna keep score here,
Oh, no.
and I'm gonna ask you guys.
Are we going to be like doing the same word?
Well, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, because
All
that
right,
is okay.
Brad. Word number 1: accommodate. Now, if anybody needs a definition, I'm happy to look it
No.
up and give this
Accommodate. A
accommodate.
A C C O M A C C O M A T E. Accommodate. I didn't do it right. I did it three
You
times in
don't
my
even
head.
have a D in
I
there.
know. I have it in my head right.
All right. So that was so bad that now we're gonna give Brian a shot.
Yeah, that was
Accommodate.
horrible. I know how to spell it too.
Oh, am I spelling the word?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
spell the word.
You did
You're
Okay.
so
gonna.
bad. You go ahead.
All right. But before I say this, I just want to tell for everybody at home. Matt loves to do this in our group chat, just correct our spelling constantly. So this is like a joy for Matt right now.
Yeah, I just wrote it on a piece of
There's a
paper.
big smut for
All right. Accommodate.
Yeah,
accommodate.
I didn't put
All
it.
right. ACCOMODATE.
That's correct.
Incorrect.
What?
Oh, what?
There's 2 M's. That's what always trips me up.
Uh, I didn't put a D in it, so that doesn't trip
You didn't
anybody up.
even put a D in it. You left out a whole syllable.
I didn't even realize there were 2 M's. All right.
ACCOMMODATE. Next word, conscientious. Bryant, you go first. Conscientious.
Conscienous.
Ah, close.
Yeah, okay.
Brad, you want to give it a shot?
Not really.
I was about to say I was gonna go
Conscientious.
pass.
Conscientious. You forgot the TI, the shuss.
I don't like this game at all.
We don't have to do the whole thing.
System.
All right. All right. How about this one? How about this one? And whose turn is it? Brad.
Yeah.
Harassment.
Okay. Harassment.
Harassment.
Okay. I wrote it down. Harrassment.
Incorrect.
Wow.
There's only one R.
So
That's what
then it should be harassment.
that's
See,
what
this is the problem
people
with the English language. There's
do
more
say
freaking you
harassment.
break more rules than there are rules.
Have you guys seen the guy on Instagram? He does this where he's like the spelling teacher. I will send you guys a video of this. He's hilarious. He does the same thing where he's like,
Yeah, can't wait for
and
my
this
family
word
to
is
see
like
this one.
hilarious. Yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
So yeah, so that's what always trips me up. This is working out beautifully. And people do say harassment. I mean, I would never say that, but you've heard people pronounce
Yeah,
it
now I have. Yeah.
sexual harassment. All right. Let's do a couple more because this is entertaining me.
I'm glad.
Our one listener has left. All right. Recommend. Bryant, recommend.
RECOMMEND.
Ding 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 ding. We have a
Well, I
success.
see a pattern here, Matt, of what you don't understand is that is two letters at
It's
once.
two letters
Well,
in one.
yeah, right. No, because there's a syllable that maybe has a double letter and a syllable that doesn't.
I see your pattern here.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna do two more now. Brad, how about this one? Rhythm.
Okay. RHYTHNM.
There's no N.
It's just
Rhythm.
M.
No, it's
Rhythm.
RHYTHM. That's a
Yeah.
tough one.
The
Yeah.
only reason I know that is because of rhythm and blues. That's the only reason I know it.
There you go. And
I haven't got any right.
this is one of those words where Y is just out there masquerading as a vowel. We heard the news. Sometimes it's a vowel, and there it is being a vowel.
It's true.
You know what's funny is I wrote RHYTH. I didn't put the N in there. I said it, but didn't write it.
All right, and here's the tiebreaker.
God, there's a tiebreaker. Okay.
All right, how about this one? I actually didn't know the correct. I was under the wrong impression for a long time with how this is actually spelled. Supersede. Who wants to give that one a try? Supersede.
I thought it was SUPERCEDE.
Bryant.
I want to say it's SUPERSUCEDE. Yeah, just like that.
Definitely not that.
No,
So Bryant, you're wrong.
I
Brad,
knew
the
it.
way you spelled it is the way that I always thought it was spelled. Correct. SUPERSEDE, not CEDE. Where is that S coming from?
Right, it's what I mean. More rules are broken than made.
Ah,
All right. That was the spelling quiz portion of
Yeah, I
my
have an F.
today. We've got more time. I want to
Mhm.
ask you guys some more questions. We did this a few episodes ago. Let's get after. We're jumping right in. Okay. Here's a very easy question. Have you ever made an online purchase?
Yes.
Okay. Do we still need every website to have a little explanation button? You got to enter your name and address and the credit card number and the expiration and that little 3-number code.
Yeah.
And next to that spot, the field for the 3-letter code, there's a little info button or something that's like, I've never seen this before. We should probably explain to the general public what this is. Do we still need that? Maybe
Gosh, I
when
hope
we
not.
first instituted these 25 years ago, but I don't think there's a spot for that anymore. So, the real question is, what is that 3-letter code called? Do you know the abbreviation for it? I can give you that.
I do know the abbreviation for it because I put it in, but no, I don't know what it's called.
Bryant.
No,
It's
no.
CVV. CVV.
Hmm.
I say I know the CVV. I don't know what the
Yeah.
words are though.
Card verification value.
Well, there
Uh,
you have it.
oh, there.
Hmm.
Now you know. Now you know. Okay. All right. Okay. The thing that operates your TV. What do you call
Remote.
remote? Okay.
Yeah,
What do you call it, Brad?
same thing.
Yeah, I call it the remote or the remote control. Right.
Okay.
Okay. People have other names. Clicker, which I
Yeah,
think is just very primitive, and I would never call it that. It doesn't even click. Um,
used
Why
to.
does my TV remote control have a low battery warning on it? What's going to happen if suddenly the batteries die on me because they ran out?
The remote's not going to work anymore.
Oh, okay, and what is the consequence of that?
You put.
Absolutely nothing.
I'll tell you what I like
Not
about
a
it.
pacemaker.
Yeah, I think you're wrong here already. The problem is that you're going to think something's really wrong with the remote if that you didn't get that low battery indicator on there instead of that just being a low battery.
Yeah, or the first notion of what to do is, oh, maybe it needs new batteries.
I don't know about that. It could have a broken remote.
Yeah.
Talking to a guy who drops his remote a lot.
I drop
So
mine a lot too.
I mean, but where are you dropping it? On the couch?
No,
on the
no, on the
floor.
hardwood floor.
Yeah.
I got carpeted floor. We're in different universe.
Carpeted floors.
What?
You know,
Oh,
they
think
were,
of the disease on there.
I mean,
How do you not go for a hardwood floor here? I mean, that's the way it is now.
We threw
I
Everything's got
mean,
a
vacuums out.
back when
yeah.
I bought the house 10 years ago, I wasn't exactly mapping. I didn't build it from scratch or anything.
Yeah, but you
Ha-
pull it up when you move in. That's what I did.
The house is so old. Well, we did clean it. The house is so old that the year of build on the paperwork says anywhere between 1900 and 1940. That's when it was built. Could
Just some roundabout.
That's
drought,
just
yeah,
a great guess.
illness,
Whatever you want the year to be, put it down. We don't care.
whatever
And
you want.
keep that carpet. Don't
Yeah.
you pull that carpet up.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. One more section for my egg salad today. I want to do another revisit to some of the questions I ask when I'm watching my TV shows and my movies and I'm observing characters' behaviors or things that happen. And I just don't necessarily buy it that that's how people act in real life, but we all just accept it because that's what we've been shown time and time again. Now, this first one's for Brad. Brad has raised three children, as we know. Okay, Brad,
Sure.
when your kids were younger, and that you were awake. It was late at night. You were awake still. They had already been asleep in their bed. Did you ever check on them by, slightly opening the door, peeking in the room, or just flat out opening the door, going in and see what's going on in there? Did you ever do that?
I have peeked in the room. I don't know why you think this is weird. I have peeked in the room and then gone upstairs to make sure she's sleeping, Kendall mostly, because she would never sleep.
Because the portrayal is that, dad just whips the door open. It's bright as hell in there. The kid's snoozing away and everything's right with the world. Okay, my experience is I wouldn't dare risk exposing him to light or sound. I would rather just assume everything's okay. Because if I happen to wake him up, now we got to start the whole nighttime process all over again, and God knows what time it is.
Now, I understand your point.
Yeah.
Definitely
Okay.
understand it, but I have peeked. I don't just knock the door open, but
Okay. All right. And here's another thing. It's in real life. It's dark in there. It's not like you can see anyway. What am I going to go hold a flashlight over to his face or hold my hand up to his nostrils and make sure that I'm feeling the breath?
Use a mirror for that one. I see that in the movies all
Mirror.
the time.
yeah, that's a
Oh, just
great one.
you know what? I'll carry my pocket mirror in and make sure I won't
Yes.
cut anybody with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Couple more. I'm having a good time. Have you ever tapped on the back of a vehicle to signal to the driver that it's okay to leave now?
Yes.
Have you?
I have.
I'd like to hear details of
Wait,
this.
what do you mean?
You
Like
know,
if you shut the door and you hit the side or something, like if you're getting stuff out of the back and then so
like a
I
taxi.
I do it for work. Like we have work vehicles where it looks like I call them they look like Pope mobiles because they're transit vehicles. So like there's a cage and like a barrier behind the seat so that way product doesn't fall into the seats. So they can't see me. So like I'll pull the product out, I'll shut the doors, and I'll hit the side as a way to tell them they can go.
There you go. Very good answer.
I definitely have never done that.
Never. I mean, you watch any movie or something, and like, somebody's packing up in a taxi or something, and you load up the car, and somebody just gives it a little rap on the side, and off they go. Yeah, that happens all the time.
In
Well,
my world, it does. Yes,
in
Must be
your world,
Nebraska.
it
different
is. It's a
world,
Nebraska thing. Yeah.
different world. Is there a vertical Mason Dixon line because you're on the other side of that? All right, I got two more. Have you ever been handed an important document, glanced at it for 1 second, and instantly knew exactly what it said, digested all the information, and then gave that person a response?
I guess they just don't want to see you read on TV. I don't know.
No, that's exactly
I was
it.
about to say, do you know how boring it would be for me to watch a movie and all of a sudden be like, hold on, guys.
I
I'm only
mean,
through the first sentence. Hold on.
they don't even make it they don't even make it 1% believable. It's like, oh my God, you know what this means? I don't know. I need a couple minutes to read it first. All right, here's the last one.
You read? You read on the show? Ah.
There you go. I got up and went to work. That was my day. What'd you do to me? All right, last question. Have you ever swallowed a pill without water?
Yes.
Wow.
I
Oh.
actually have done that several times this week.
Why?
Because I do. I don't know why. I do. I swallow most of my pills without water. However, I have what's called EOE, which is an esophagus problem where I can't eat any food without drinking something. So it is
Oh,
very, very weird that the
what?
pills are not a problem.
What? Okay.
Yeah, we
Let's
don't need to get into all that. We don't need to get into 48-year-old
take a
man's
step back.
I'm
problems.
I'm a grown adult man who admits that he can't take pills, so now he takes gummy everything
Yeah.
because I just can't do pills.
When I was a kid, it was tough. It's pretty easy now, but I use water. But I mean, you watch a TV show or a movie and somebody's just pulling it out of their pocket, pop it in their mouth.
Yeah, that's
You know,
me.
you ever watch House? You ever see that show? Pretty good show.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
It's the guy's last name, Bryant, just so you know.
That is oh, okay.
Dr. House. He was a pill addict
Yeah.
and
Clearly, you just said he was. So yes, I
yeah,
figured.
and just right out of I mean, he's probably the best example I can think of.
I'm assuming the show is based around him diagnosing people so he can steal the pills from them.
No.
Oh,
It is definitely based on him diagnosing people.
and
Uh,
stealing their pills, clearly, because you said
Sounds
he's
like
a
a
pill
very
addict.
hatching moment here.
no, he's not a criminal. He's a good doctor.
Just told me he does pills. To me, that's a bad doctor, but all right.
He has a serious injury and it developed and a need slash addiction for a way to deal with it. All right, gentlemen, thank you for indulging me. I will be back with more questions at a future time.
Bringing us to cage-free, out-of-character likes. And man, when I put this on the outline, I got madder and madder at myself because I'm like, what am I even talking about here anymore? I mean, how many times do you do this one, right? But I got ones. But let's go with Bryant first. So, Bryant, what's your out-of-character like this week?
I don't know if it's really a like that everyone enjoys, but it's something I enjoy mostly, which I guess counts it as out of character. I love putting things in order, like chronological order, whether it be alphabetical or year or day or whatever. For example, all of the movies that I own are in alphabetical order. Won't change it for a thing. All my wrestling movies are in date order. They have to go by date or I will lose my mind. And I'm to the point now where I will call it OCD like, but it is my like where I will write out the order they're supposed to be in just to keep them in that order because I also love writing things down. So I guess that's another out of character like to tie into this. So for me, it's being weird and writing things down. Brad.
So organized.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was your out-of-character, but okay.
To me, if you would see my house, it's very out of character because nothing else in this house is organized.
Gotcha. So this wasn't something I always liked, and it's something I've started liking over the last couple of years, and now I have to have it during the holiday season. And I never thought I'd be the guy to eat like this is eggnog, and it can be eggnog with alcohol or without alcohol. But I don't drink it all year, and it's nothing as like I didn't grow up with it, which is why it's out of character for me. No one ever gave it to me. It's just one day I tried it on my own recently. Actually, I did try it when I was younger. I didn't like it, and I never had it again. Now I like it. Eggnog is my out of character like because it is nothing that was ever in my life till now. It's okay. It's good.
That's a good out of character like. I don't even know what eggnog is. I don't want to know. It could taste like the best thing I've ever had, and I won't try it.
It's
That's
not what
how
you
I
think. It's not what you
that's
think.
how I operate. It is alcoholic, right? Is that or
It
and
can be
it can be. What is the alcohol if it is
rum. I believe it's rum.
rum? Okay. How did we go through the entire Christmas season where, by God, we mentioned Christmas and we did not have a category named eggnog?
We
I mean,
do have a category named eggnog.
what's that?
There is a category named
We just
eggnog.
haven't used it yet.
We have not used.
Just
I
saving it.
don't think we've decided what it
We're
is.
saving it for next Christmas, guys. All right. My out of character like is that I like NASCAR. Now, I live, and I think you guys know that a little bit. I mean, I live in New Jersey in the Northeast. NASCAR traditionally is a southern state. That's where the main fan base is. Their headquarters out of Charlotte, and most of the tracks are in southern states. I mean, with my affinity for NASCAR and pro wrestling, you would think I'm some backwoods hillbilly. No offense to anybody, but about maybe 9, 10 years ago, I've got these good friends, and they were into it for various reasons, and I thought, it'd be pretty fun. This is before any of us had kids. I thought it'd be pretty fun to go to a race. So I told them I expressed some interest, and they set it up, and we went to a race in Dover. It was a very fun time. They even said, "Hey, here's who you should root for," and his name is Martin Truex Jr. He's at the time his racing team was based in Denver, Colorado. Now that's noteworthy because literally every single other racing team is based in Charlotte except for that one. And also, he's from New Jersey, like me. So he's from New Jersey, like me, and his racing team was from Colorado, like my wife. And he was a contender at that time. So uh, we became a fan of his. He actually ended up winning the championship in 2017. And the season that just ended was his last full-time season. He's had a very nice Hall of Fame career. Here's something that when I was learning about NASCAR, here's why it became something that uh, I sort of fell in love with. It was interesting and unusual for me to be a fully grown adult and encounter something that I was interested in that I really didn't know anything about. And I became forced to like learn about it. How does it work? What are the rules? Why are people like it? Blah, blah, blah. That was like a new experience because I think that we don't really grow so much as adults. We've already filled out the outline of what our lives are going to be, and then we just try to fill it with those things. But I was trying to fill it with something new. So that was one reason. Another reason is what's unique about this sport is when you watch their main race on Sunday or whatever it is, that's the whole league, right? The top level, the cup level, they've got one race a week and every team is in it. You're watching, I mean, I love football and baseball too, but if I watch the Yankees versus whoever or the Giants versus whoever, there's 30 other games going on or 15 other games going on that I'm not watching. So you're really only watching your team. Maybe NFL, you definitely have an opportunity to watch more games than just your own. But you could just watch the NASCAR race and open and shut in one week. You've now everything about the league. Does that make sense?
I despise NASCAR. And me and you have actually, when we first started texting, which was a couple years ago now, we talked about this where I
We
told you
did.
I went to an event in Dover, Delaware, where I was there. I left at 3 o'clock in the morning and got back at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, that's 23 hours. To the point where I was in tears about two-thirds of the way through it because I had no way. I just wanted it to be over. There were 18 cautions. I got sunburned. It was October. I don't even
Yeah,
understand. It was one of the longest days of my entire life where you actually did all the research and found out exactly when it was and what the race
I
was.
did.
I will never, ever, ever go back. And when I turn on the TV, it's like I have post-traumatic stress disorder to it, where my stomach
Yeah.
hurts and I start getting, chest palpitations. I will never ever watch it. I hate it.
Yeah, it's the same track I went to, the Dover, Delaware. Um, what's funny, it's funny you said that. So I was there, I've been there a few times, but I was there once for a May race and froze my butt off. And I was there once for an October race and it was really hot and I got badly sunburned.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
yeah,
had,
you're sitting out there unprotected.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had these three guys behind me. They were all in gear and they all had the headsets on. I thought they were part of the show. They were
All right.
not. They were not. Okay. They
Okay.
were not part of the show.
Dramatic. So, anyways, cage free, that is my out of character. Like, it's not something I grew up with. It's not something that's at all popular from where I live at all. Not at all. But there you have it. Out of
You
character.
like it, Bryant?
I tried to get into it, and then the thing that got me out of it was I bought the video game for it. And when you try to play a video game of NASCAR, where all you have to do is just turn a little bit, turn a little bit more, and then you realize that's what you were watching. I was like, no, I can't do this at all. So I tried, but got out of it due to, I'm not gonna say boredom, but just couldn't do it.
You could say
Gotcha.
boredom. It's, you know, I can 100% understand why people don't like it. I also understand why people don't like baseball. I mean, I love baseball, but I get why people might not, you
Yeah.
know?
Which brings us to Eggs Benedict, Bryant.
So for my eggs Benedict, I wanted to talk about something that I also have a passion for. As I've alluded to, I'm a big wrestling fan, but there was something else that I have a passion for, and one of the main characters of it is the perfect Benedict, who started off good, wanting to do what was best, but then unfortunately had to, didn't have to, but became evil because of it. And of course, I'm talking of Anakin Skywalker, who eventually becomes Darth Vader. When Anakin is discovered on Tatooine as a slave, at the time the Jedi Council was looking for someone to bring balance to the Force. And Master Qui Gon, believed that it was Anakin Skywalker who could bring this balance, but Anakin didn't want to leave his mother because he has that strong family bond. He wants to protect his mother. That was his goal, was to keep her safe. By leaving, he thought he couldn't protect her anymore. As he grows up, tries the Jedi ways, he thought the Jedi was the way to protect her, protect his family. Instead, she's captured and eventually killed. And what happens? Anakin goes on this rampage, kills everyone around them, kills everyone in this village over the frustration of losing his mother because he lost his family. Fast forward, he falls into this relationship with Queen Amidala, Padme. He then wants to realize that the Jedi powers would be the thing to help protect her, to save her. He's having these terrible visions of her dying. And all he wants to do is protect her. But the council won't help him get to the Jedi master level, the thing he thought he needed to protect her. All he wants to do is protect his family. And realizing that, he gets swayed by the dark side. Chancellor Palpatine corrupts him, telling him that the dark side is the only way to save her. And that's all Anakin cares about, is saving his family. And what happens? It turns him evil, killing younglings, going on this mission for Emperor Palpatine after he is eventually tried to be overthrown by the Jedi. But in the end, it costs him his family by going to the dark side. And once he's there, Padme is distraught and eventually passes because of him going evil. What does he do then? He's already evil. It's take over the galaxy. All in this rage of having a rage against the Jedi's for not helping him save his family, a rage over wanting to use this as his way of like some sort of way of kind of being like, oh, is this because of saving Padme was the thing. Eventually, he reconnects and does the ultimate return at the end, killing the Chancellor, reconnecting with his son Luke. It's kind of that a turn back, which you also see in tons of movies, wrestling, as we've talked about before. You see that a lot, where you can be the heel, become the baby face, and go back to being a heel. This was that opposite. He was the good guy who wanted to help his family, became a bad guy because he lost his family, only to become the good guy again at the end to save the son that he had and try to reconnect the family that he had lost. And to me, Anakin is that perfect story of that turn for good reason in his mind to justify saving everything. But, comes back around to realize that his family was always there. whether it was Luke and Leia. And I just think it's the perfect story and movie of the right reasons, but you went bad, but you still found that right reason to come back. So that
Well
to me
done.
is my Benedict. So Brad,
I know Matt is chomping at the bit here. I just want to say that, believe it or not, I had my first one was Ivan Drago, but it was between Ivan Drago and Anakin Skywalker. So well done, my friend. Well done.
I'm not gonna lie, my first one was Brett, but it was between Brett and this one as well because I just feel the story's so good, so
It's the
perfect for
ultimate
Anakin.
heel
Yeah,
baby
yeah,
back to yeah.
yeah.
Good story. It's too bad the prequel films weren't better than than they were as movies. But yeah, I mean, I love Star Wars. I've been watching the new show,
Mm-hmm.
which is really meant for a younger audience, but I still watch it. Skeleton
Oh, they're
Crew.
so fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm a
Well,
big fan.
yeah,
I'm a
and
big
that's
fan of everything Disney's done with Star Wars.
I
Disney's done a good job carrying the mantle a little bit for it.
Yep.
Especially like the Mandalorian as well. And
Oh, Mandalorian's amazing. Yeah.
I did like the Anakin parts of those prequels though. Him in general because it helped me, because all I knew
it
as a
helps fill in
kid
the
was
story
Darth
because
Vader.
like I said, you see, with 4, 5, and 6, you have the story of him and you want to learn more. And that's what the prequels helped with is understanding why he went to the dark side. And then when you realize it's family, it's he wanted to protect everyone he loved. And when he thought, he had nothing, it was okay, then what's there to go for until he realizes he has the son and daughter. It's okay. Now he had something to save in that last movie, save Luke from the Chancellor.
But in the Phantom Menace though, as him as a kid,
Yeah.
knowing that's Darth Vader
Mm-hmm.
is bizarre. It's
Yeah.
nuts. This
Yeah.
child is Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so glad this has come up because I'm going to segue to something else. So yeah, I mean, I complained about the prequels. I mean, the acting's pretty horrendous. The kid. So the kid who played Anakin in Phantom Menace, I don't remember his name. He did not do much after that.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you read about it, it's because he was ridiculed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he was ridiculed because that's kids are just awful to each other, or if because I don't know he was pretty bad in the movie as an actor. That's how I feel.
It was the same thing that happened to Hayden Christensen. He really
Yeah.
didn't do much after the prequels
Yeah,
because of
I
the
mean,
same thing. They took they didn't like his acting as Vader.
Well, he
yeah.
did marry Giselle though.
This is true. Yes, I will
Okay.
give you that.
Right. I mean, he
Well, it
was
comes
he
back
was
around.
bad too. I mean, hey, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna hate tweets, but it's not like Mark Hamill was a great actor. I mean, he just happened to play an iconic role. I think every lead Skywalker character had been a pretty bad actor. All right, here's why I'm glad this came up.
Or Mark Hamill.
On Christmas, and my wife Sue and I were this is the end of the night. We're watching TV, and Willy Wonka came on. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and I started to look it up. I mean, it really comes off as very old. Now I've seen it a bazillion times. It is a
Willy Wonka. Okay.
yeah. What did I
No,
say?
not Charlie, Willy Wonka. I'm just
Not
thinking in
Charlie.
my
Yeah,
head.
Yeah,
I'm thinking in my head.
Willy Wonka. I
The
mean,
older one.
I think the original novel is called Charlie and the
Yeah,
Chocolate
I got
Factory,
you.
that is. Yep.
No,
and
you're
then
right. I'm just getting in my head.
the more recent Johnny Depp movie was Charlie and the
Mm.
Chocolate Factory.
Mhm.
But the one from the '70s, the one that everybody knows with Gene Wilder, great movie. I watched it 100 times as a kid on VHS. The kid who stars in it that plays Charlie Bucket, that is the only acting he ever did in his entire life. Isn't that
Made forever.
insane?
Made forever.
Isn't that crazy?
Different
He was
time, I think,
like
right?
he
Mm-hmm.
was like in a choir or something in a school, and they picked him out. They put him in the movie. He did a good job, and never acted again. He said that he just went on to have a normal life and lived somewhere in the Northeast United States, I think. He was a veterinarian, but I mean, it's an iconic movie and an iconic role. Um, but he said that like by the time the movie came out, he had kids age different, they look different than adults aging. He had already looked a lot different. It's not like he wasn't recognized. He had looked so much different that it's not like he had this sudden celebrity where people would recognize him. And he had just already moved on. Like it just wasn't something he was interested in. That blows my
That
mind.
is nuts.
That's kind of crazy.
We should
Blows
have him on the show.
There you go. Yeah,
Okay.
Sounds like you could be available.
that's true. Yeah.
I'm sure I can get a veterinarian or two on here, right? All right. Well, that's going to do it for most of what we have this week. Matt, will you go ahead and hit us with the socials?
All right. I just have to pull up my script. We are three eggs are better than one, and we are cooking up every Monday morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern, even when we're sick,
Hmm.
even when we have illness. And that's on oh God, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Find us on YouTube at Three Eggs Are Better Than One, the number three, the letter R, the number one. Follow us on X, Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok at Three Eggs Are Better, the number three, the letter R. We have individual accounts at Yes Man Brad, at B Haremza, and I am at Purple Shirt Guy without the I. And Brad, what do you have planned for us for next week?
So it's going to be a combination next week, and I got to get to work on this because I've been writing things down for a while, but I had a detour of illness. So I'm gonna combine down the rabbit hole with duck eggs, and I have one word for you, and the word is mole. Mole. Mole, do you mean? So the word mole has 7 definitions. I am going to go through each definition. I'm going to give you examples of each in pop culture, every which way known. We're going to know all about mole next week.
I am very intrigued, but where does one come up with something like this? Is it the illness?
I will get to that next
Okay.
week.
Okay.
So, Bryant, why don't you go ahead and take us home?
Well, we thank you guys for joining us this week. We've had a lot going on this week. Brad's thankfully with us, recovered perfectly from his illness. We want to, as I said, thank you guys for joining. We want to be the first to wish you a happy new year. As New Year's is coming up in a couple days, happy new year. Be safe. Use caution when out there. And just we look forward to seeing you guys next week. The egg timer's been set, and we'll see you guys later.
Happy New Year.